Und herzlich willkommen zum ersten Tesla Model Y Livestream. Ich freue mich, dass ihr alle dabei seid. And also welcome to everybody who's not able to speak German, or I should rather say understand German. No worries, after a short introduction we'll be switching to English for the interview with my good friend Martin and his Model Y. Aber als erstes nochmal für diejenigen von euch, die meinem Kanal hauptsächlich folgen, wahrscheinlich hört und sprecht ihr am liebsten Deutsch und das ist auch komplett in Ordnung so. Willkommen, vielen Dank, dass ihr dabei seid. Ich habe es ja schon etwas länger angekündigt und habe tatsächlich sogar ein Video mit Martin schon mal aufgenommen, aber die Qualität war einfach nicht so hoch, wie ich sie für euch haben wollte. Und von daher habe ich uns jetzt einen tollen Livestream hier organisiert. Ich möchte Martin an dieser Stelle schon einmal ganz herzlich danken. Das werden wir gleich nochmal zusammen auf Englisch machen, damit er das auch verstehen kann. Eine wichtige Info, die ich euch natürlich mitgeben möchte, falls ihr irgendwelche Fragen stellt, die sehe ich dann hier drüben im Chat bei euch und ihr möchtet diese Frage unbedingt auf Deutsch beantwortet haben, damit ihr alles richtig versteht, dann werde ich das gerne machen. Wir werden am Anfang ein bisschen mit Martin sprechen darüber, wie er zum Tesla Model Y gekommen ist, was er sonst so macht, wie das Model Y von außen und von innen aussieht und dann werden wir zwischendurch immer mal wieder ein paar Pausen einlegen, wo ihr gerne eure Fragen stellen dürft. Von daher würde ich sagen, wir fangen an und jetzt switche ich mal drüber zu English. So let's transition over to English and I am more than honored to introduce to you who don't know him because we actually did a video together once, my good friend Martin and his Model Y. Welcome, Martin.
Alex, thank you. And I am so pleased to be on your channel showing something a little bit more technically advanced than an electric golf cart.
Yes, I remember last time we did do our electric golf cart video. That was pretty much exactly a year ago, if I don't have this wrong. So if you are interested at all, I will have the video somewhere on my channel, and if you want to look for that. But Martin, thank you so much for doing this. I know it's a lot of work to do this, and thanks for taking the time out to answer all our questions. So the first thing that I want to get out of the way is you are a good friend of mine who's doing something that's really German, I would consider. You're brewing beer in your, I would say, free time, and you also have a YouTube channel doing that. Is that right?
That's right. So I have a YouTube channel, and I'm working my way through 99 different beer styles. So I brew one beer style a week and try them out. Many of the styles I've never even heard of. So it's been quite fun to have a go with that. Yeah, it's called the Homebrew Challenge if you want to check it out. And look, I know many of the audience here are German. I would just like to apologize in advance before you even watch a video because things like Beer, Habertal, Mittelfrüh, these things, I can't say I'm right. I apologize, but yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That is completely fine. It actually looks really good. Your beers, you also have a tasting every time you do a beer. So I really enjoy those videos. And actually, I've been in one of these videos, so you can well, I guess you can try to spot me in those videos from you, Martin. So the video or your channel is linked down in the description of this video. And with that, let's transition over to Tesla talk because that's what we are all here for. I just want to remind everybody that if you are planning to buy a Tesla car at some point in the future, make sure to use a referral code that will give you 1,000 miles if you're in the US or 1,500 kilometers if you're in a country with the metric system of free supercharging kilometers or miles. And I would highly encourage you to please ask your friends and family members and anybody who you know that has a Tesla because they will also get some free supercharger miles or kilometers. However, if you do not have someone who has these or who has a Tesla, if you don't know anybody, then please feel free to use the code that's down in the description below. This time it's obviously Martin's code. Martin, thanks for taking the time. I hope some people will consider using your code and subscribing, or rather I should say buying a car with that. So with that out of the way, tell us how and what you have there behind you. Well, how you got to your Model Y and what you have behind you.
Yes, so what I have here is no longer a golf cart. It is the Tesla Model Y. I got it about 3 weeks after they started really doing deliveries in the US. So I've had it for a little while now, and it's been my first ever Tesla. So it's really been an interesting experience to learn how to use this car and what it can do.
That is really cool. And you have a Tesla, a red, obviously, we can see that, a red Tesla Model Y, what is it, a dual motor, right?
Yep, so this is the dual motor. It's all basically standard, so standard size wheels, black interior, full self-drive package. Yep.
That is so cool. And obviously we will also be talking to you about stuff that you maybe don't like or that you had issues with your car, because when there is something good, there's also something bad usually. So we'll be getting towards the end into some of the issues you had with it. Spoiler alert, it's nothing big, but it's something that could be potentially annoying, or is really annoying. So let's start with, I guess, well, yeah, you're laughing because you know what it is and I do, but still. Let's start with something that I guess most people can relate to that are watching my channel or have been following Tesla to some extent at all. The car in comparison to the Model 3. So I drive a black long-range dual motor Model 3, so basically the same car you have, just you have the Model Y version and it's red. Some of the differences I want to highlight here and go through with you. The most obvious one is probably the ride height. So have you sat in a Model 3 before?
Well, actually, this morning I was parked next to a red Model 3, which was just fantastic to see the differences. So yes, I've been in a Model 3. I parked this one next to a Model 3, so I'm pretty familiar with the differences between the two in terms of size.
Okay, so it is a good amount bigger, right? It gives you a little bit more headroom due to some of the interior stuff that we'll be getting into the future, but it is a little higher off the ground. You do get that SUV feel, is that right?
Yeah, you do. So the ride height is definitely higher. When you get in, it's not like getting into a sedan where you sort of go down. You feel like it's very easy to get in and out of the car because it's raised up a bit as well. The other thing that I was concerned about, because I know what they did was they just took the Model 3 seats and put them on risers. And I was concerned, being relatively tall, that I was going to be hitting my head on the roof. But no, there's a ton of room in there for drivers and for passengers as well in terms of headspace. So yeah, really spacious vehicle.
That is really good news for all of us who are a little bit taller. I'm probably on the tall side as well, so glad to see that. So some of the differences that we can spot right away are obviously those rims that you have on your Model Y. Are those the standard rims that come with it?
They are, yes.
All right, they have a little aero-looking feel to it, so I would say they're probably more efficient than the bigger ones you can also buy, but hey, they may save you a trip to the tire repair shop because there were quite a few of those narrower 21 or 20-inch rims that got damaged even in the US.
These are really nice. I could have gone for the 20-inch fancier rims, but I love the look of these, and yeah, I think they're supposed to be very efficient.
That is true, that is true. So one thing I think that's most interesting about this car, because it did have a couple of major exterior changes with regards to the Model 3. How about the rear windows? They are tinted as far as I can tell from this shot right now, and we looked at this before. Is that right?
Yeah, let me grab the camera here and take you with me so you can see this. Nice sunny days. You should be able to see that the rear is clearly tinted. That's the clouds you can see reflected back there. So it's very much tinted there, and of course on the glass roof as well. Yeah, the roof is tinted as well in my Model 3, but the rear windows having such a heavy tint, that's something that's new. And actually, I appreciate this. I think it helps with blocking some of the sunlight out. And and this actually gives us a really good view on one of the other big things that Tesla changed from the Model 3 to the Model Y, and that is all the chrome parts. So that's the handles for the doors and even the blinker, like the side repeater covers, all of them are now matte black. I love matte black things, so I think that looks super cool. What do you think? Would you have rather had everything in chrome, or do you like that matte black finish? Honestly, the first thing that I noticed when I pulled up to the Model 3 today was their chrome finish and how I much preferred my finish. Yes. Okay, yeah, I get that. So that's something that I definitely wish my Model 3 had as well. You can get this as an after package, so some people will buy it or something else. But all right, that's cool. So we had one of the first questions, and Brian asked, "What time did you buy, Martin?" So I guess we want to do order and then also when you took delivery of it. Well, I'm trying to think when you talked me into this, Alex, because that's when I. Am I the sole reason you bought this? Not the sole reason, but you definitely instigated this. So I think I went through wanting every model at some point. So I definitely originally wanted the X because I have a big Honda SUV prior to this. I thought, well, that's the nearest thing to that. And I was like, oh, well, Model 3 looks pretty nice. And then I think you talked me around to the Y. So I placed my order near the end of last year. And so it was a pre-order. And yeah, it came through a couple of months back. So yeah, I think I was waiting 2 or 3 weeks after the sort of first initial launch of vehicles. Not very long.
That is really good. That is really good. All right, let's look at one other question. We had, well, first of all, thanks Kai Uwe, having a super chat here saying it's good stuff. Well, Martin, obviously, he is a really cool guy, so good stuff always. There's one that said, has this Tesla already have the sound for pedestrian? Have you ever backed up or driven really slowly? And did you hear any sound? So really quick for all of you German listeners, that was the question from Leon. Hat der Tesla bereits einen Motorsound für Fußgänger? All right, Martin, go ahead.
This is so interesting because no, it does not have any of those speakers for backing up or whatnot or driving slowly. And I don't know why, because I know that for regulatory reasons, the Model 3 had to have them. But for whatever reason, they are not in my Y.
Wow, that is really interesting. I thought they really had this on there already, but I guess some of the stuff maybe hasn't carried over yet, or maybe they're prioritizing the Teslas in Europe because it's also regulation here now. Not really sure, but those were a couple of the questions that we had already here. So let's go over one of the biggest requests and one of the things that was mostly, it was due to happen or bound to happen, the tailgate. Right? The tailgate is something that we all wanted to be electric. Tell us a little bit, have you ever owned a non-electric tailgate car, and do you appreciate the way that it's set up now?
This was like a essential expectation, to be honest, with a car like this. If I don't want to manually open this thing myself. So yeah, it has that tailgate. It's very handy. It's nothing super fancy. Like I know some of these tailgates, you can like put your foot under them and they'll open. It doesn't do anything like that. But yeah, no, it's perfectly good. I mean, I have seen some videos online of sometimes the sensor not being super great when it's closing and things might be in its way. But I have not had any of those issues.
Yeah, and I got to say, because of that rear entire electric hatch, the opening is so much bigger. So it's really, really great to see that Tesla has this kind of Model S style opening now for the Model Y. Because one reason you didn't buy the Model 3, let's put it that way, is because I didn't insist so hard, obviously, but also because you wanted more space, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I guess when we open up the back, we can talk about the space. But, I'm coming from a Honda Pilot, which is this huge 7-seater car, and it's massive. And my concern has been, will I have enough storage space? I mean, I can only seat 5 people. I went in knowing that, but for example, we went on a camping trip recently. I've got a tent, a cooler, a ton of stuff, right? Could all of that fit in this car, which is a smaller package than the car that I was used to? So that was my concern going into this.
But it ended up hopefully being true that you could fit everything in there. You had some trips to the beach. You went camping in the car. Yeah,
so being a new Tesla owner, the idea of things like a frunk were kind of interesting, and the sub trunk as well. And it's just insane what you can get in there. So in my frunk, I had 2 queen size air mattresses folded up, plus the pump, plus a few other things. So that was, something that would normally be in the back. And then in the rear, in the compartment below the main area, it is super deep. And in fact, there's 2 rear compartments back there where you can just get a ton of stuff. And I ended up taking a travel size Weber gas grill and putting that in that compartment. So that was closed off, and then all I had was the tent, and I had a ton of space.
That is so great to hear. We already have a couple of questions in the chat that is asking, or people are asking about the software and the screen size and everything in regards to the Model 3. We will get to that in a little bit when we will move inside the car, so Martin isn't getting roasted like a rotisserie chicken out in the North Carolina sun there. Just before we wrap up kind of the exterior part of this and we go to the front and the rear and just open it once live, obviously, why did you end up deciding to buy a Tesla? Because this is your first electric car overall, right? And you, as far as I got you, I mean, you're a tech guy, you love tech, as I do, I love tech as well. But what really persuaded you to go into this?
there's two reasons that I really wanted to get it. Apart from all of the usual things you might have, obviously it's more environmentally friendly and all that sort of stuff. But the two primary reasons that it would fit my life is one, I've been doing a lot of driving. So at the weekends, I drive to the beach, which is about 150 miles away. So it's a 300-mile round trip, and I do that most weekends throughout the year. That's a lot of driving, and I wanted a reliable autopilot system that, once I get on the highway, could just handle the whole trip down there. So getting Tesla Autopilot was something very exciting for me. And then the second thing is to have a space that is usable even when I'm not driving, which isn't to say I'm like running in the car in the garage and watching Netflix or anything. But just to give you an example, like today I had to drop my son off at a soccer camp, right? It was 30 minutes drive away. He wasn't there for all that long, but parents are not allowed out on the fields because of COVID-19. So I am just able to sit in my car in camp mode with the air conditioning running, with power available to plug in my laptop and work. And I've been doing that all week. So I've been using it as a mobile office. I've used it as a tent when we went camping. So just this ability to be able to use the car and all of its systems when you don't have to have an engine running has been the other reason that I wanted it. And I've used that probably even more than I thought I would do.
And I love that. It's the whole experience which makes a Tesla really fun in my own experience, having the software in there, having AC running without an engine running and burning, fuel, all of that good stuff.
Can I just share my favorite story about that, actually?
Go ahead.
We were driving back home on an interstate. The interstate shut down completely. There was a big wreck, like a half-mile ahead. So they shut the road down completely, and we were stationary for an hour, just sat there, not moving at all. And I just put it in park, put it on Netflix. I had the whole family in there, and we just watched a show on Netflix in the middle of the interstate. I mean, it doesn't get better than that.
And see, some people say, who needs Netflix in their car? But once you're stuck in a traffic jam, at least once, you're like, this is awesome. I love having Netflix in my car.
It's fantastic.
All right. So let's maybe open up the frunk real quick, take a look at that, and then maybe have a live view at the trunk, but then we'll move inside. So to open the frunk, obviously, you have the same Tesla app as you would have with your Model 3 that you would see on my channel quite a few times. And you can open up pretty much everything from there. Also the electric tailgate, right?
Yep, that's right. So frunk just same as ever. So it's not powered or anything, but it just unlocks the latch.
Nice.
I'll grab the camera and take a look, because I think it is a little bit bigger than the 3.
It is, definitely, and also it has a different bottom. So in the Model 3, you get something that's similar to the carpets you get underneath your feet when you get delivery of it. But this is just a plastic bottom, which makes it a little bit more rugged. You can fill it up even with ice to cool your beverages in there or something, I guess. Yep. I don't know if I would want to fill it up, but yeah. All right. And there's also the donut that was heavily discussed on the Tesla forums. That is basically the lid that seals this from the top on the underside of your hood, which is fairly interesting, I would say, that they put something as big on there. In the Model 3, there is nothing that is on there that is this big.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
All right. Have you been happy with the frunk size so far? I mean, you talked about the camping stuff, that it was really helpful, but in general?
That's the only time I've used it.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I think we're going to come on and talk a little bit more about the frunk in a little bit, right?
Yes.
There's more to say.
we will. Okay, then let's go to the maybe tailgate and show this once more before we move to the inside. We had one more question while you're moving the camera, maybe. There was a question from Leon saying, Stopp Netflix, wenn man losfährt. So does Netflix stop when you start driving? I can answer this from my own experience. Yes, it does. They won't allow you to have a video playing either in web browser or Netflix or YouTube or whatever mode. It will just stop that immediately. And Tony Bullet asked, are these original rims? Sind das Originalfelgen? And we already answered this right in the beginning, but just to reiterate, Martin, those are original rims, right?
Yep, these are the standards that came with the car, yeah.
Nice. Okay. I think they look quite good. Maybe matte black rims would go nice with your red Model 3, but yeah, whatever.
That would look good. Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a look. We already saw a short clip of the Model Y rear trunk opening, but let's see this in real time. So the other one was slowed down to look a little bit more cinematic.
Here we go.
All right. So pretty standard, I would say, and really good trunk size. There is no... in German, it's called Hutablage, so there's no divider, basically, that you can put over your trunk, right? So that's a little annoying, maybe, if stuff would fly around and get to the...
Well, yeah, there isn't, but the pockets here, that's hard to show on camera, but you can see this one's got a soccer ball in it. It's so deep.
Wow.
That you can stick a whole ton of stuff down these things, I can tell you.
Wow, that's interesting. Somebody, by the way, just said all new Model 3s don't have any carpets in them anymore for, I guess, we're talking about the front. So that's interesting. I didn't know about this yet. So this is the rear space. And since we're already here, let's show the 2 compartments. That's different than in the Model 3. In the Model 3, you only get 1 compartment, and it isn't as deep. I can already say this much. Yeah.
So,
wow.
Probably hard again to really get a sense of scale. Maybe if I put the soccer ball in here, you can see that.
That's a lot of space.
It's really deep. Like I said, I've got a full gas grill in here. So, so that's the first one. And then there's sort of a hidden second one, and the way you get at it is there's no tab to pull for the second one. The only way I found to get to it is to raise this one up first, and then you can get a hold of this one.
Wow, but there's quite a lot of stuff under there. All your charging cables, adapters, right?
Yep, so I've got my puncture repair kit, I've got my charger, some emergency lights, my drone. Yeah, I've fit a whole ton of stuff down here.
That's interesting. And people were discussing what this second compartment could be for. We all assume this will be a space where the third row seats would go. So when you get a third row options, I personally expect this to be filled up with the seats, but hey, you never know what Tesla comes up with. So it's really cool to see this huge opening, and especially if you're a dog owner or a pet owner in general, you can have your dog or whatever else for pets, I guess you have, in the rear, because there is access to the main cabin. In the Model 3, you don't have that. You would always have to have your dog in the second row.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, and then one more thing. I know we're now kind of slowly transitioning into the interior, which is, I just love this. It's something so small, but I love this. First of all, you can fold each of the middle seats individually. You can see this right here because they're all, individually accessible, but they're kind of auto folding, right? There's a mechanism.
Yes, so let's see if I pull this one. I'm going to pull it, and then you'll see. This goes down, and then a second button for this one. They don't go back up again.
So you have to manually pull them back up. Yeah.
You have to but they do that. And then that middle section there can be separated from the 2 others. So you could have sort of like 2 captain seats and have those up, and then that middle section down.
Wow, that's cool. That's really important. I'll just translate this into German real quick. So, für alle von euch, die das eben noch nicht ganz verstanden haben, man kann tatsächlich die Mitte, sozusagen den mittleren Sitz, die mittlere Lehne von der linken Seite separieren und der rechten und nur diese mittlere Sache unten haben, zum Beispiel zum Skifahren, um dann die Skier durchzuschieben, und links und rechts trotzdem die beiden Sitze zu haben. Das wäre für Urlaube natürlich mega, mega praktisch. Alright, this is really cool, Martin. We had one question in there that says, can you remove both of the floors, basically those floor covers of the under trunks, I would say. That was the question from Alex. He asked, kann man beide Böden entfernen? So can you actually remove the cover?
Here?
No, just the top cover, I think.
Just the cover. Oh,
yeah.
This one comes off. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
okay.
one comes off. And yes. This one comes off too.
Okay, so yes, die Antwort für dich, Alex, kann man beide Böden entfernen? Ja, man kann beide Böden entfernen, wenn man das dann möchte. And
cool.
Just, I guess, for overall camping purposes, you could probably sleep in there, right?
There's no probably about it, Alex. I actually have bought a mattress that is designed to fit in here.
No way! I told you to do this, and you actually did.
Are we noticing a theme here?
Oh man, I have a lot of buying power, I feel here. Okay, so this was super cool. Apart from this, the car is pretty much the same. The only thing that we can show for the door handles, actually, that's really important for cold weather people, and we get some snow here in Germany. They don't only open, but they swivel. So Martin's pressing on that side now, and you can see that they swivel back and forth a little bit. You can't, yeah. I hope you can see this. So for all of us hier in Germany, die Türgriffe kann man auch auf der falschen Seite drücken und dann bewegt sich der ganze Türgriff ein bisschen, um Eis zu entfernen, was sich manchmal über den Türgriffen bilden kann. So that is super helpful, and I think also what is really important, what we can't really show here, is that the Model Y has a heat pump, so it's really efficient, especially in colder climates for heating, and it does have a heated charging port. So those are all things that we don't generally get in the Model 3, maybe at some point, but right now the Model 3, as far as I'm aware, doesn't feature this. So for all of us here in Germany, Wärmepumpe, definitiv effizienter für kaltes Wetter und eine beheizte Ladebuchse, sehr, sehr praktisch. Okay.
I think it's worth, Alex, I think it's worth mentioning about the heat pump as well, because that's something that was new, as you say, to the Y. And the early models, mine included, had a bit of an issue where when that heat pump would run, it would kind of rattle in there, and it was pretty loud. Sounds like a sort of small jet engine is taking off kind of loud. So obviously it's the summer, I'm not using it for heat, but it's used for the AC as well. And it was super loud. And newer Model Ys have an acoustic blanket that goes over that just to stop the vibrations. And what they've been doing for people like me who got the earlier models is they have been adding those acoustic blankets. So I just went into the app and said, it's super loud. They said, yeah, we've got a fix for that. And they put the acoustic blanket on for me. So
that is nice.
Something that they've improved. Yep.
That is nice. Okay, so we get some small improvements already. That is super cool. All right, is there anything else that you want to know? Mehr Fragen für das Exterieur or anything else, Martin, that you want to fill us in here?
I think for exterior, the rest of it's really just like the 3, I think.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I love my Model 3, so I'm glad they actually kept most of it. At first, when I saw the Model Y the first time, I was a little bit disappointed. I was like, oh, this looks just like a 3, but honestly, I love my 3, so why change anything? And the couple of things they did change, especially on the interior, I really love. So I think it's they did a good work there. So you have been enjoying your car for how many miles now?
So I've done 3,500 miles. What's that? 5,000 kilometers, something like that.
Yeah. Wow. That's quite a lot. That's quite a lot.
Yeah.
So in the couple of months that you had it so far. So I guess we can swivel into the interior. Let's look if someone else is asking here. Is there a difference between the Model 3 interior and the Model Y interior? Okay, I guess we're getting into the Model Y and Model 3 interior questions here. So let's, I guess, move the camera and we'll be able to take a look at this interior. And as you can see from the little shot that we put up here, it on first glance looks pretty much exactly like the Model 3 interior. But fear not, there's actually quite a couple of things that are different with the Model Y interior, which actually I would love to have in the Model 3 interior, and some of them are already being carried over. So this is going to be super, super interesting in terms of what we can do here. And at this point, I want to just ask everybody who has questions again, just put them in the chat. And we can, as somebody was asking, how good is the paint quality and how good is the panel gaps on there? Have you noticed any of them, Martin?
Yeah, that's a good question. Can you hear me okay with the AC running? Or should I
it's all right.
It's okay. Going crazy because it's so hot. So yeah, the paint quality is pretty good. I did notice like a couple of tiny things which I didn't bother getting addressed because I just know it's going to get chips and whatnot. The panel gaps, my approach to that was I went around and had a quick look, and there was nothing shockingly bad, but I chose not to look too carefully because I mean, I've seen posts of people picking up their Ys and like going through with like a 300-point checklist, and you're just going to find stuff, and then once you see it, you can't unsee it. So I wouldn't normally do that when I bought another car. I've never done that with a previous car, so I didn't with this one either. And I haven't noticed any build quality issues really with this.
All right, so for the question from Alex, wie gut ist die Lackqualität und wie gut sind Spaltmaße? We just heard from Martin, die Spaltmaße sind in Ordnung und die Lackqualität auch sicherlich nicht perfekt, aber daran arbeitet Tesla. All right, cool, thanks for answering this. So now we're in the interior, and I gotta say it looks so much like the Model 3. We have the same touchscreen, we have the same steering wheel. It's all pretty much similarly set up. As you said, the seats are actually on risers, so you can, you're sitting up a little higher as you're alluding to, and that glossy middle console. I wish they fixed that. I had mine, I just wrapped mine. It's terrible.
Yeah.
But maybe let's start with the obvious answers that we already had in the chat. On what software version are you? I'm just going to check on my Model 3 what software version is on mine currently, and then we can compare, because somebody was asking if the software version is different. So mine is 2020.28.6, as my viewers know, and yours is 2020.28.6. All right, so you're on the same version, so no difference there, and also the screen is the same size as far as I'm aware. So that is really interesting. So we already had the first questions regarding the charger. So maybe let's move straight into the center console, because you did get something which I had to buy, and my viewers may have picked this up. I'm still waiting on my delivery, actually. Your phone can wirelessly charge in that center console, right?
That's right. So in fact, two phones can
wirelessly
charge.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yep. So put that in there, and that's charging.
Nice. So you can see good space for your phones there. Have you seen anything wrong with it? Does the phone move around? Does it rattle?
No, it's really good. Really good.
That is great to hear. And I mean, it looks pretty nice because it comes right from the factory. So you get this as it's standard in every Model Y, and I think it's coming standard in the newer built Model 3s too now. So that is interesting. That is really great. Does it load slowly or quickly? Do you have any estimates on how much charge you're getting on your phone there? Is it usable?
Yeah, I don't know the charge rate. It's certainly usable. I just stick it on as a matter of course when I get in the car, and it charges it up, but I haven't looked at the rate. I
guess there are some proprietary chargers. One of them I bought that do charge a little bit quicker and can also charge in landscape mode. But honestly, I think that's cool that Tesla includes something like this right there, because it doesn't charge, as you can see, like this, right?
Yeah, it does not, no.
Okay, all right. That is great, though. So the thing that this charge mat is connected to are the USB ports. And in the Tesla Model 3, you get two USB Type A ports. What do we have on this car?
Right, so we have, strangely, USB-A and a USB-C.
USB A and C. So that is super curious. I don't know why Tesla did this. Do you have any explanation why they had done this?
Well, what makes it even more odd is in the rear are two more USB ports, and they're both also USB-C. So, no, I have no idea why three of them are USB-C and one of them is USB-A.
I heard people say that the newer Model Ys and Model 3s all have, the two USB-C ports also in the front, but I am just so confused by this, and I don't really know why they would have done this. But I think it's actually helpful because some of the external drives that you plug in for Sentry mode, they're still featuring, the USB Type A ports, and actually your big drive right there is, well, it's technically a USB-C cable.
It's
so I guess.
USB-C with a USB-C to A adapter, so I would rather it be all USB-C.
Honestly, they should have done this, but doesn't really matter. So for those of you wondering, yes, one Type-C and one Type-A port, but yeah. Is there much more space in the center console, Alex is asking. So maybe you want to open up all the compartments that you have. I honestly couldn't tell a difference between the Model Y and the Model 3, but maybe it's a little deeper on the Model Y, actually.
Okay, so this is a box of masks. I don't know if that's any deeper. Probably.
Oh, definitely. Not. That is deeper.
It is?
Wow. Yeah, no, that definitely looks deeper. Yes.
Okay, so there's that. And then here, we've just got this little tray. And then this is full of my laptop charger in here as well. So it goes down to where my fingers are touching.
Okay, that's similar to what it is in the Model 3. So yes, Alex, to answer your question, overall a little bit more space, it seems, in the center console. Now, Martin already alluded this just a second ago. The two chargers in the back, which are both USB Type A for me, are actually both USB Type C here. So you get two USB Type C ports in the back for all of you charging your phones in the back, have, kids or something. Actually, I think it would have been much more useful to have one Type A and one Type C in the back, because quite a lot of charging cables are actually still USB Type A to C. So I don't know what they were doing with that. Okay. All right. So one thing that you definitely love is autopilot. You said this, right? You said autopilot is like the thing you love. So have you been enjoying autopilot? Because in the US, it does have a little bit more functionality. It now stops for red lights. It now stops for stop signs. It can do so many cool things. How was your experience so far with that in the Model Y? It's
been great. I love it. So on highways, obviously it's very reliable, keeps you in the lane. The cruise control aspect of it is much smoother than my Honda. My Honda had some sort of basic autopilot, which I think was one camera mounted in the windshield, and it would typically get near to a car and then just see it at the last minute and slam on the brakes.
God, that's dangerous.
Yeah. The Tesla obviously sees a lot more around it and is much smoother. So that's been good. The other thing is I do have the full self-driving package. So I got the traffic lights support. So if you are approaching a traffic light, it will tell you whether it's red or green. If it's red, it will stop you. If it's green, right now, if there is another car in front of you and it proceeds through the green light, then it will also. If it is green but there's nobody in front of you, it will ask for confirmation before proceeding. So you either have to tap the stalk or just tap the gas pedal, and then it will go through. But that's been pretty interesting. It's definitely still a bit of a work in progress, and I don't use that all the time. But there are sections of my drive where I'm just going straight on, because it doesn't turn left or right yet. If I'm going straight on through lights and it is a busy area, I just put it on autopilot and
that is so cool, really man. I want this in Germany as well. I really hope we get this here soon in Germany. I literally can't wait for it. Moving away from some of the technologies, because those are technically the same, one thing that totally isn't the same is that gorgeous glass roof we can see right over your head, and that's it's a huge difference from what the Model 3 has compared to the Y, because in the Model 3 there's a bar kind of like in the middle, and that's where the reading lights are for the second row and all of that, but you have one continuous glass of pane going from the front all the way to the back, which you said also gives you a little bit more headroom. Is that right?
Yeah, so I absolutely love this thing. It really is beautiful.
Wow.
And I tell you, when you go into camp mode at night, it's really something as well. So yeah, there's good and bad parts to it. The fact that rear bar is so far back is great, because you have this massive single pane of glass. Mm-hmm. The bad thing is if you're in the rear seats and you recline to the maximum recline and you're tall, then your head might hit that pillar. So for me,
that's interesting.
It does hit the pillar if I put it all the way back. If I don't put it all the way back, I've got plenty of headroom. Yeah,
I get that, because in the Model 3, it's kind of getting low in the end as well, but you still have glass instead of that big bar, because the rear trunk is not opening the entire back, which is, good for the trunk, but bad for your headspace in the Model Y, I guess.
Yeah, and then just the other aspect, which you can really tell just looking at this shot, is there's not an awful lot of rear window to look through. So when you're looking through your mirror, it's just a tiny little sliver really compared to the 3.
True, but you can, as in the Model 3, pull up your rear camera on the center screen. So I think that's kind of the fallback default solution if if there's anything. There is a question from Decelia, sorry for maybe pronouncing this wrong, asking, does the Model Y have more camera sensors, radar sensors compared with the Model 3? I can actually answer this one. The answer is no. They have exactly the same amount of sensors as all Teslas currently have. So no matter if you buy the Model S, X, Y, or 3, they all come with the exact same sensor suite, which actually enables Tesla to build such a great autopilot system because they can learn and train the system from all of their cars because they all have the same basic camera angles, and it only has to be adapted only minor adaptations have to be made for every single car variant. Cool. Okay, so that is one big thing. One tiny thing that is different is actually the overhead button for your emergency. What is it, like hazards? Your hazards. In Germany, we have two buttons there. We have the SOS, which is now a mandated button that you have to have where you can call emergency services. But in the US, funnily enough, you still only have one button. So that's a difference to the German Model Y. But I guess the Model Y in Germany will be getting the same second or two button layout as you would get in the Model 3 right now if you buy one or already own one. So just a tiny thing that I thought was interesting to look at. Okay, I think that's like most of it from the interior. Anything else that you want to mention here, Martin, from the like front interior? Because there's also some stuff to go over in when it comes to the rear.
No, that's it, I think.
All right, really cool. Really, really great to see this so beautifully set up as they have already done with the Model 3. I really love the minimalist setup they have, and I think the front space, and you may have to correct me here, but the front space is pretty good that you have in the Model 3, right?
It's, yeah, plenty of room here. These, like I said, I've been working in my car this week, and these seats go back a good long ways as well. So plenty of cabin space, that's for sure.
That is really, really great to hear and to see. So maybe let's talk about the rear seats really quick, because they are a little bit different, or I would rather say because you don't have that center bar over them, they probably look a little bit more spacious, at least to me. Anything that you want to say with regards to the rear space that you have?
Let me run around the back.
All right, let's do that real quick.
Put the seat up and we can take a look. Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So while Martin is running over to put up the rear seats for us, we'll just take a look at some footage. I just got to say I love the Model Y and the engineering that went into this as well, because Tesla has been doing some really innovative stuff. For example, they have been rear casting something, which I think is great. They have been doing just so many tiny improvements on the Model Y with regards to the ownership experience in the long run, because hopefully these parts will last a little bit longer. We'll have more, usable space, stuff like that. So I think that is really cool. We have one question in there asking, is the leather material different to the Model 3? I couldn't tell a difference, but I obviously never sat in one. So Martin, do you see any difference to the leather material in the Model 3 there?
I don't think so. I think it's all the same.
Okay, and I guess that would make sense. So why would they change this? By the way, it's all vegan leather. So in case any of you are wondering, I think it's really good. Have you had any experiences with stains or anything in the car?
Look, I have an 11-year-old kid, and he was in this car all the time, and it survived him. So I would say that it's pretty good.
I agree. It's probably pretty good. As far as the other stuff that's in there, I mean, there's a couple of lights in there. There's a couple of coat hangers that you can open up by pressing on them and popping them out, stuff like that. So honestly, there's probably not that much really unique that's compared to the Model 3 there. I still like the interior setup. You have a lot of space. Obviously, those seats are a lot higher, so you can put your feet, as Martin is doing right now, under the front seats much more easily, and I guess deeper as well, as you would in the Model 3. So that's a difference that I actually like, because I am a quite tall guy as well. So having that option to put your feet under the seats is interesting. And you see right there that the seats are on these risers, that they're just elevated. And that's pretty much the height difference from your seating position that you get in the Model Y, plus a little bit of body raise, but that's about as much higher as you're sitting, which I think is a great. It makes driving experience a lot better.
Yeah, I totally agree with this legroom thing. You just got a ton of legroom. And this chair, by the way, is all the way back as far as it goes, because I was working in here earlier, and look, I've still got a ton of space, and I can put my legs all the way under there. So really nice.
That is super nice. I actually love this that they incorporated that little. I don't know if it's a feature really, but that space in there. And as far as the interior, or the, I would say, second row interior is concerned, I don't think there's much more to it. You still have those deep door pockets, right? You have a couple of cup holders there.
Yep.
Yeah, right there.
Yep.
How about
2 cup holder things? Yeah.
How about the center thing? Yeah, that thing. That's what I was interested about.
Yeah, so that's 2 cup holders there, and then this, I think this raises up as a headrest.
Yeah. Oh, that is perfect. Yeah, I mean, that's what we're pretty much used to in a lot of German cars as well. In the Model 3, you cannot adjust the center headrest as far as I know. Can you adjust the side headrests, or can you not do that?
No.
Okay.
No, yes, you can.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They went
See,
up.
that is some valuable good news.
Not so easy to do with one hand when you're holding a camera, but it moved up. So
that is cool.
This one is higher than this one.
Well, see, so everybody on the live stream now, this is something that is super interesting. Wow, that is awesome. We have another question in the chat. Someone is asking, Dacelia again, do all Model Y have fog lights? Because as he or she says, I know does not every Model 3. The standard range plus maybe doesn't. I don't know, I guess you have them because you have the long range version, right?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know? Well,
how do I turn them on?
There's a sit in the front. We can check this out later, maybe as a little bonus add-on. But one more thing to mention here is that because you don't have that roof, like center bar that you have in the Model 3, it just provides a view that is going on forever and ever. And I gotta say, this is something that whenever somebody rides in even my Model 3, and the Model Y is even more pronounced in that way, people are just like, wow, it makes for these literally best first experience you could ask for.
Yep. Completely agree. From the back seat here, let me just try and give you a view of what I see, because and this is my house here, you just see all of this just looking out the car. It's so good.
Damn, I'm so jealous. You're making us all jealous here in Germany, because as far as I'm aware right now, the first Model Y deliveries are planned to be out of Gigafactory Berlin, which is still under construction. So there's still I want to say a year to go before we see the first ones if everything works out well. So it's such a treat that you're showing us around here. It's just gotta say awesome. As far as the doors themselves are concerned, we still have that same lock and I want to say unlock button for the door, right? That tiny that tiny thing that a lot of people still need some explanation with. Oh, your camera feed broke up there, Martin. I think your HDMI cable maybe got disconnected and your sound is gone as well. So I hope you get that set up as well. As long as you're trying to repair that, I'll just entertain the people a bit. So these were most of the features, and we'll now switch over to talking about, once Martin has his camera situation figured out, we'll start talking about some of the stuff that didn't go as well. So I want to definitely talk to Martin about his delivery experience, only for a couple of minutes here. And then there has been one big issue which has been haunting Martin. And I will just say that it's something to do with the frunk compartment, which is super annoying that he had to deal with. But I hope that he will get this fixed, or already had this fixed. No, he definitely had this fixed already. So hopefully when Martin gets his camera back, we can talk to him about this and we will see what happens. So in the meantime, let's go through the chat once again and see if there's some other stuff. How tall is Martin? Well, I would ask Martin, but I want to say he's 6'1". That is probably, or 6'2". I mean, he can probably still hear me, and he's like, no, I'm not that, I'm not that size. But I think he's probably the same height as me, and I'm about in German measurement units or metric units. I'm 180 189 centimeters or something like that, so 1 meter 89, 1,89. And yeah, for that I think there's still really good space, especially in the front, but the rear does have a little bit of issues there. All right. Any other questions that I didn't see yet? Someone's asking if everything's all right. Well, yes, I'm doing fine. Thank you, blah, blah user. And then there was a question about the vegan seats. Yep, they're all vegan. We had some range estimate there from Ryan Nelson. Thank you, Ryan, for chipping in. So I talked about this quite frequently with the Model 3 and the Model Y and S and X online configurator, that in Germany the range is a little bit underreported because currently Tesla doesn't really want you to see the range of the Model Y because you can't really buy it. But oh well. I see Martin is back, but I don't see his camera or sound yet, so I guess we'll have to wait just a tad longer, but that is no issue at all. We have some beautiful shots here from the exterior. I gotta say, I really enjoy that red color, and maybe for my next Tesla, maybe even for my Model Y, if I end up buying one, I think red would be so beautiful to go for. And apparently Tesla is also setting up a new paint shop. Yeah, that is interesting. Someone says, I think I'm the only person who is younger than 18, but someone said, no, that person is also under 18. So yes, this is something I think people, even under the age of 18, can definitely enjoy and be excited about, because that's something where, you know, that we're all just, I don't know, it's a goal that I had for such a long time to own a Tesla. Actually, when the Roadster came out, I really wanted a Tesla already, but I was driving a Opel and then a Skoda before that, and then I finally moved on to the Model 3, which I picked up last year. Red makes the car faster, Alex says. Well, yes, it does. All right, I really hope Martin is giving us a chance to talk to him about his one problem he had. Let me just text him really quick. See what the deal is. Just asking any problems. Oh, there he is. Oh, maybe not. Let me check really quick on him here, folks. Okay, there's Martin is back on his phone. Martin, what happened there?
I don't know. 1 second. Let me just get the audio going again.
Okay. I'll just switch back for me for the second until you have this done. Well, this is live, people. This can happen. We tried to get everything set up perfectly, and as I said in my video from yesterday, that was in German on my channel, I did spend quite a lot of thought going into this live streaming setup, so I hope the quality is good, the latency is all right, and you're all enjoying some beautiful, gorgeous views of that wonderful Model Y, which hopefully we'll see soon here in Germany as well. But Martin, so we can probably hear you again now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. It's not, I don't think it switched back to your correct microphone now, but that's no problem. Oh, no, now you're gone again. Oh, there's some cars driving in the back. Sorry?
Can you still hear me?
Yeah. It's a little less of a nice quality audio, but it will do. Okay. Yeah, I think it's breaking up a little bit, the connection here, but hopefully we can at least talk really briefly about your issues that you had with the Model Y. So first of all, just maybe some words of your ownership experience. Of your pickup experience, because you were walking around the car. It was all during the pandemic, COVID shutdown. I mean, it's still ongoing in the US very much, but how was the entire pickup experience? Because mine wasn't ideal at all. Okay. Sorry, go ahead, Martin.
I'm going to move. Hold on a second.
Okay, I think Martin, we'll give Martin one more second to figure this out, and we'll just talk about his issue really quickly, and I will just address it, and then he can take over from there on. So I will put up look at that. That's Martin. That's Martin back there. Okay.
I'm back. Okay, can you hear me a little better now?
Yes, definitely better. It's a little bit delayed, but that's fine.
Okay.
So what, your Model Y, you picked this up, and what was your pickup experience? Because mine, it took forever. They sent over the documents wrong, and then I don't know, it was not really, I would say, not nice to the buyer, which was me in that case. How was it for you?
It was good. They gave me the contracts online, so everything was filled in online, just a case of showing up at the place, and I did have to go inside and sign some paperwork, which I was surprised I had to do that. And I think they've since resolved that, so that you don't have to actually be standing next to somebody indoors. But other than that, yeah, it was very good. Then they just enable the app and off you go.
I love that there's so much app-focused stuff that you can just do from the app. And you told me when you could even like look at the app before you took delivery of your car, so you could see that it's still at the service center or something.
I couldn't, but I called and said, where is my car? Because they were trying to arrange for a pickup, and there was a chance that I could pick it up a little bit early. And they said, oh, hold on, let me just see what your car is now. And it's like, oh, yes, it's at exit 306 on the I-40 right now. I can see it moving. So it was on the back of a trailer, and they were pinging it and telling me where it was. They did go to great lengths to assure me that they would not be able to tell me where my car was once I owned it, though.
Okay, that is good to know. The privacy issues obviously here, but I think Tesla is doing a great job so far. So last but not least, there has been an issue with your the front trunk. Tell us a little bit what's happened there and how the current status is.
Yes, so this has been the one issue, and it has been a bit of a problem. So the problem that occurs is the front appears to the car to be unlatched. Just like for a second or so, and then it shows it's latched again. So the animation that you see in the car is of this front lid going up and down like this, as though it's sort of waving around in the breeze. And when that happens, the car kicks you out of autopilot in a kind of a big emergency sort of take control, flashing lights, sirens, all sorts. So it's very jarring when it happens.
So that's something that's on your center touchscreen when it happens, right?
Yes, that's right. That's right. So it kicks you out of autopilot, and then the front thing will go. It's completely intermittent, so I can travel for hours and it not do it. In fact, just now though, when I was in the car, it was doing it just now, like when it's parked in the driveway. So it can do it at any point. So
it's not fixed.
It's not fixed. So the story with this is, I took it to the service center the first time it happened. They were able to replicate the problem. They thought that the alignment of the sensor was too low, so it was seeing that it was closed when it wasn't. So they replaced the sensor, didn't fix it. Took it back a second time, they couldn't replicate the problem because it's intermittent. So they just sort of cleaned it out, which didn't help. The third time I had a mobile service appointment. So a service technician came to the house, that was this week. And he opened up the front for me and showed me all inside what was going on inside. And he told
so you can see the entire inside of your Model Y. And actually, I'm going to throw this picture up here so you can see it as well. I love this. It looks so technical. It has so many details in there. So it's crazy.
Yeah, it was really cool to see. And he said that this is an ongoing issue. There are 4 potential problems, and they haven't really got to the bottom of what it was. And he told me, he said, I've got 3 more Model Y appointments in your neighborhood this week, and they are all to address this front open error. So it is a pretty widespread problem with the Y, and they don't have a good solution yet. So for this appointment, he replaced the front latch. That also has not fixed it because it started to, it worked for a day or so, and now we're back to the square one again. So the final thing that they're going to do is there's a front computer in that front, which apparently controls some of the stuff like that. And they're going to replace that. And I have seen other people have that part replaced on Reddit as well, and I've had some luck with it. So I'm hopeful that that will be the solution. But yeah, this will be the 4th attempt to try to fix this now.
The 4th attempt.
Resolved.
Well, see, that is, and I mean, technical issues can happen, and we've seen this in the past, and then Tesla addresses this in the production part, so it's probably not going to be of any sort of issue once we get our Model Ys here, or anybody who's probably even buying a Model Y right now. But it's just, honestly, it's kind of sad to see that this is taking place. However, I really love that they go through all lengths to, I think you said even like they gave, the service technician gave you his phone number and said to call you and stuff like that. So I think that's good, right?
Yeah, he was very good. Yeah, he said, look, here's my personal number. I'm going to order you this part for the 4th fix, just in case you need it, this front computer. And he said, just text me if that's the case, and we'll get you set up with an appointment. And then just randomly, the very next day, a Tesla mobile service van drives right past me on the interstate, and my phone starts ringing, and it was him asking me. He said, "Is that you? And how's it going? It's the front fix now." So, yeah.
That is so cool. I mean, you know, every big company, there's just people working there. So it's lovely to see that they are still taking some good human measures on there. Okay, let's maybe do a last call for questions. So if you have any last questions that you want to do, because we're going to wrap it up here shortly, please do ask them now. There's one more question in there from Dazelia, whatever, sorry. Did you buy the full self-driving packet?
I did, yes, absolutely.
Right. Yeah. The package. So what was your main reason for buying this? Because autopilot is standard on all cars, So
autopilot is standard, but the changing lanes is not standard, which would just be a real pain not to have that. So
agree.
I wanted that, but I mean, I didn't pay whatever it was just to get that. It's just the fact that you get these regular updates, and it's driving itself through traffic lights now and stuff. It's really fun to see it improving.
That is so cool. That is so cool. All right, I don't see any more questions in the chat, and we're coming up on an hour and a couple of minutes here. So Martin, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. Once again, Martin does have his own YouTube channel where he brews some really delicious beer, and whenever he brews some beer, usually your videos are uploaded on Tuesday late night, I guess, our time or something like that here in Germany. And I don't know, I always I just have to take out a beer out of my fridge and just drink it, just because I get so thirsty for some beer. And you're actually going to show us your brewery. Wow, look at this.
Here, this is the little brew setup that I use, and I've got a whole sink set up, and wow. It's just a whole studio in here. So.
Well, there you go. That's some behind the scenes there. So if you're interested in beer brewing, it's obviously all in English, but I think the visuals are speaking for themselves often. Then please do consider subscribing to the channel called the Homebrew Challenge. It is linked in the video description down below. And also, just remember that if you're planning on buying a Tesla Model Y, S, X, or 3 anywhere in the world, so Germany, USA, US as well, please consider always use a referral link. And if you do know some people in your immediate family or friends, ask them for it, because you both get a couple of free supercharger kilometers. However, if you don't know anybody, this time I would ask you to use Martin's link, which is linked down in the video description below, because I did receive a couple of orders through all of my viewers. So thank you so much if you're doing this. You can certainly still do that, but for this specific instance, please do use Martin's code. He is a brand new Tesla Model Y owner. This is your first Tesla ever. So Martin, once again, welcome to the Tesla family. Thanks you so much for taking the time on talking here with us. Do you have any last words you want to say?
No, thank you, Alex. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk about the why, and thank you for everybody who sent in a question as well. This is one of my favorite topics, so really, really enjoyed this.
Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, since we don't have this car here yet, and we can't really access the car, and we don't have them in showrooms or anything, it's kind of a little sad sometimes to not be able to look at this. But yeah, I mean, that's probably all we can do now. So I guess this is where we're ended. Thank you all so much for watching. Martin, thank you so much for doing this. And please, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, also consider doing so. I will hopefully have you on again, Martin, if you think that's a good thing as well.
Please bring me back.
All right, well, great. So we'll have another live stream at some point in the future, and I will of course continue making videos in Deutsch, so German videos. So for my next videos, you'll probably hear me speaking German again. So yeah, people said in the chat, thank you, Martin. I think we can only give it at that, and I guess we'll leave it at that. Thanks everybody so much for tuning in.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.